In the heart of Tibet, there's a little-known practice that still catches the attention of visitors and researchers: polyandry. In this tradition, a single woman can marry multiple men at the same time. Even though the world has changed a lot, this custom hasn't completely disappeared. In some communities, it still exists with surprising stories, like sons-in-law who become husbands. To understand how this family structure came to be and has endured, it's essential to look at the historical and cultural context of the region. Tibet, located in Central Asia, has deep roots in its beliefs and customs, passing down a legacy from generation to generation that remains alive despite external influences. Families that follow this model often face challenges and spark curiosity. There are stories of secret nighttime encounters, sometimes even involving the bride and her father-in-law. These situations raise questions about how each husband wins the wife's attention and stands out among the others. It's a scenario that invites reflection on family values and the balance between tradition and adaptation to the modern world. After all, what makes people hold on to this arrangement? What kind of agreement keeps this coexistence working? And how does each husband deal with the silent competition for the wife's affection? These are questions that fuel curiosity and the desire to understand more about such a unique practice. Why are so many men drawn to young women wearing necklaces and other jewelry? To understand this, we need to look at traditions that have been passed down for generations across different parts of Asia. These customs, handed down from parents to children, have shaped behaviors and beliefs for centuries. In many communities, women's adornments aren't just accessories. They're symbols of status and deeply respected cultural heritage. In the heart of Central Asia, Tibet stands out as a vivid example of these traditions. Strategically located, it shares borders with countries like India, Myanmar, and Bhutan. There's even a passage that runs through the Sikkim region in India, reinforcing Tibet's political and cultural significance. When people think of Tibet, its traditional medicine often comes to mind, famous for using natural ingredients and attracting scholars and visitors searching for ancient therapies. This practice dates back to the 6th century AD, when knowledge of healing started being systematically collected. Since then, it has been passed down and refined through generations, earning worldwide recognition. These traditions, from wearing jewelry to valuing ancient healing methods, help explain why certain images like women adorned in ornaments catching people's attention still spark so much curiosity. It's as if every piece of jewelry, every ritual, and every teaching carries the history of a people who have learned to adapt their traditions to modern realities, without losing their connection to their roots. Imagine a place where daily life is guided by Buddhist teachings, and Tibetan monks spend most of their lives in monasteries, immersed in rituals that keep their local identity alive. Here, drinking tea with salt instead of sugar is completely normal, even though it surprises many visitors. And anyone traveling through this region quickly notices the constant presence of the yak, an animal that is not only part of the landscape but also essential to daily life. But one tradition stands out even more: polyandry. In this type of marriage, one woman is married to multiple men, who are often brothers. To understand why this custom has endured, you have to consider historical and economic factors. In many parts of Tibet, families have to deal with scarce resources, and keeping all the brothers under one roof is a way to consolidate land, property, and expenses in a single household. Instead of splitting an inheritance among multiple homes, these brothers share responsibilities and expenses, which can make a huge difference in environments where survival requires collective planning. This arrangement strengthens family bonds and protects assets, ensuring that each member has what they need to face the region's challenges. It's an ancient tradition that continues to this day, making anyone who learns about it reflect on how communities organize themselves to navigate their hardships. Beyond financial concerns, this practice also reflects deep cultural traditions. When young Tibetan men reach marriage age, they face the challenge of paying a dowry, something that often requires resources they simply don't have. To deal with this, multiple brothers can join together and marry the same bride, sharing the costs and easing the financial burden on each of them. On the wedding night, the eldest brother takes charge of organizing the household and making the key family decisions. While all of them are considered husbands, he is the one who leads the household dynamic. If he is unable to have children, another brother steps in to ensure the family line continues, highlighting the collective nature of this arrangement. One detail that surprises many outsiders is that the father-in-law is also allowed to spend private moments with his son's wife. This aspect underscores just how different local traditions can be from those in other parts of the world, sparking curiosity and fueling discussions about the many ways families can be structured. Have you ever imagined a place where a woman can have multiple husbands at the same time, and it's considered completely normal? In Tibet, this practice is part of the local tradition and sparks curiosity in those who have never heard of it. But how does a man win a place in the heart of a wife who shares her home with other partners? The key lies in a rule that shapes the relationship between brothers. They all have the same status, even though the eldest brother gets a few extra privileges. This means each one puts in real effort to show care, attention, and active participation in family life. Instead of conflict, what you see is cooperation. The husbands work hard and contribute resources to keep the household running, something seen as a sign of commitment and genuine effort. The wife, in turn, tends to appreciate the one who puts in the most effort to care for the family, even though there's no open rivalry. At the end of the day, this way of life still intrigues outsiders, but for those living it, it's part of a culture built over generations. And it's precisely this combination of tradition, respect, and teamwork that holds everything together, even if to many it seems far from ordinary. On the special night when she officially marries all the brothers, she meets with each husband separately. The eldest goes first, followed by the others, all the way down to the youngest. In theory, each one gets the same attention, but in reality, things don't always work out that way. In some families, the wife ends up favoring the husband who contributes the most to the household, or shows the greatest interest in helping with daily tasks. A husband who doesn't participate much or doesn't provide enough financial support might get sidelined, no matter how hard he tries to win her over. When this favoritism becomes too obvious, conflicts can arise, sometimes leading to the exclusion of that man from the family. With nowhere else to go, he often seeks refuge in monasteries or other places where he can regroup. In these situations, the mother-in-law may step in and offer a second chance. If the husband shows a genuine desire to change and makes an effort to contribute, he's usually welcomed back. This fresh start, based on real behavior change, often restores balance in the household and helps maintain harmony among everyone. Amid the mountains of Tibet, some men try to escape domestic issues by getting involved in extramarital relationships. However, this decision comes at a steep price. If a child is born under these circumstances, the father automatically loses his right to inheritance under local laws. This consequence reinforces the importance of commitment within the household, serving as a reminder that careless choices can lead to family conflicts and legal troubles that are hard to resolve. Meanwhile, Tibetan women wear beaded necklaces and coins that are more than just decorative accessories. These gifts, given by admirers, influence how a woman is perceived within her community. In this context, each piece carries a story, showing how cultural values and relationships are deeply intertwined, shaping traditions and personal responsibilities in meaningful ways. Imagine receiving an object that not only catches people's attention, but also boosts your status in the community. That's how many Tibetans see the adornments that circulate in the region. Take the coral necklace, for example. It's not a typical piece of Tibetan jewelry. It comes from outside the region, carrying a special meaning for the woman who wears it. This unique touch can draw attention and even attract new suitors. Beyond these details, Tibet is deeply shaped by traditions passed down for generations. When it comes to marriage, what may seem unusual to outsiders makes perfect sense to Tibetans, as it reflects the cultural heritage that guides their relationships. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it and want to see more content like this, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel.